Good afternoon. We are Diana and Walter DuMelle, co-founders of Bodhi Tree Concerts, now in our 9th season of performing intentional acts of kindness through music. We offer music as a path towards enlightenment and understanding by featuring exclusively local artists, programming diverse repertoire, and supporting charitable organizations. To date, we have presented over 58 concerts, donated nearly $30,000 to charity, and hired hundreds of San Diego-based artists.
Organize, agitate, educate must be our war cry. Famous words spoken by suffragist and American hero Susan B. Anthony. Bodhi Tree Concerts is proud to present Songs of Suffrage to celebrate the incredible suffragist women and this country's ongoing journey towards equality. In honor of the centennial of the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, we will remember the women who fought for decades, finally making voting rights for women in America the law of the land.
Songs of Suffrage features San Diego's finest local artists. We would like to thank Angelina Rayo, Mary Munger Taylor, Michael Sokol, Danielle Perot, Jonathan Nussman, and the amazing Inez Irawati at the piano. These artists have been on a journey with Bodhi Tree Concerts, bringing these songs and stories to you during a pandemic. We are incredibly grateful to them for sharing their talents and for their flexibility and determination.
We would also like to thank Nancy Walters and the La Jolla Community Center, Angelina Rayo and Gary Ferdman for their research and writing, the California Women's History Museum and Ann Hoiberg, Songs of Suffrage donors, especially Ann Craig and Eleanor Shorter, the City of San Diego and the Commission for Arts and Culture, the Office of Georgette Gomez. We would also like to thank Donnie and Jen Eastman of Go Eastman for expert videography and Mark Denishovsky for expert sound design.
Today, you will hear authentic suffrage songs from the turn of the century, also reflections on suffrage from the ensuing decades from larger works, including Ragtime, Mary Poppins, and the opera The Mother of Us All. We even have a Dolly Parton specialty number entitled The 19th Amendment.
Please make sure you check out our website that will not only have today's program, but also a suffrage study guide with activities and history for children. On our website, you will also find several other free of charge digital concerts and artist salons. We are extremely pleased to offer these digital concerts free of charge, but if you can, a donation in any amount would be greatly appreciated. Please consider making a donation today.
Our reimagined 2020 season will close with a digital Best of and Sing-Along HMS Pinafore in September. Stay tuned for details and instructions on how you can participate. Exciting plans are underway for Bodhi Tree Concerts' 2021 season, our 10th anniversary. We have Broadway cabaret, local jazz legends, a 10-year concert and party, as well as the return of All Is Calm, Music in the Calle, and much, much more. Please stay in touch. We cannot wait to perform live and in person for you.
Voting rights are still under siege in our country. We hope this concert not only entertains, but also reminds and inspires. Strong, wise, persistent, and diverse women fought for our right to vote. We must honor their memory and their work by doing our civic duty. Your voice counts, so vote. The journey towards equality continues. We hope you enjoy the concert.
Mothers, daughters, rebels, suffragettes, never miss a chance to utilize the power that has been given you. Vote the ticket that will give you more power. Women's suffrage stands today, a solid shaft of marble. From it, your hand must help to carve a monument for all time. Every hand must grasp its chisel and leave its imprint.
In 1848, the campaign giving women the right to vote in America was born at a women's rights meeting in Seneca Falls, New York, organized by abolitionist Elizabeth Cady Stanton. In 1872, Susan B. Anthony and 15 women went to the polls demanding to be registered to vote, claiming that their right to a ballot was assured by the 19th Amendment. Anthony was put on trial for voting in a national election. Found guilty, she refused to pay the $100 fine. Oh, we wear a yellow ribbon upon our woman's breast. We're prouder for its sunny hue than of a royal crest. 'Twas God's own primal color, born of purity and light. We wear it now for liberty, for justice and for right. 'Tis just 100 years ago our mothers and our sires lit up for all the world to see the flame of freedom's fires. Through bloodshed and through hardship they labored in the fight. Today we women labor still for liberty and right.
Met a little country girl, 18 years old, she said. Her eyes were black, her hair was jet, she sadly to me said,
Yes, Papa votes, but Mama can't. Oh no, not yet, not yet. No matter what the others think, I am a suffragette. My Papa does the voting, while Mama does the work. And when there is any shirking, he's the one to shirk.
Yes, Papa votes, but Mama can't. Oh no, not yet, not yet. No matter what the others think, she is a suffragette.
If the men should see the women going to the polls to put down the liquor traffic, need it vex their souls. If we're angels, as they tell us, can we once suppose that all the men would frown on us when going to the polls? We love our boys, our household joys, we love our girls as well. The law of love is from above, against that we ne'er rebel.
While the fight for women's suffrage in America took over 70 years, gains were made state by state, especially in the West, where Wyoming became the first state to vote in 1869.
From Wyoming's rocky valley to the wild New Hampshire hills, from our northern lakes of silver to the sunny southern rills, lo, the clarion call of freedom, oh, the listening silence thrills, lo, the clarion call of freedom, oh, the listening silence thrills.
have heard the voice of freedom from that far-off western shore. We have heard the echoes calling as our fathers heard of yore. Let us sing its stirring music, equal rights forevermore. Let us sing its stirring music, equal rights forevermore. We have watched the dawning splendor of a promise in the skies. We have heard his accents tender, lo, ye faithful ones, arise, who would equal justice render, I will never more despise. Who would equal justice render, I will never more despise.
American suffragists were only a part of a worldwide campaign to win women the right to vote. In Weimar Germany, newly empowered women, unhappy with male domination, had had it up to here. The trouble with emancipation's been raging since history began. Yes, feminists of every nation want to throw off the chains made by men. Hula girls and housemaids and wives in Marabou hear all our voices thunder in protest. Anything that men do, women can do too, and more than that, we women do it best. So chuck all the men out of the Reichstag and chuck all the men out of the law courts. Men are the problem with humanity, the blinded by the vanity. Women have passively embraced them when we could have easily outpaced them. Yes, we should have long ago replaced them, or better yet, erase them. If we haven't made our feelings clear, we women have had it up to here. As babies, men all howl and bluster. They cry through the night and the day, perfecting the techniques they'll muster for the time when they won't get their way. Nursey holds the monster and feeds him from her breast, and baby is contented for a bit. But when he sees his nurse is trying to get some rest, the little man decides to throw a fit. As men, they get their pick of professions, like policemen or scholars or clerks. They get rich and acquire possessions, like we wives who keep house for these jerks. They're ruining the country while we mop up the floor. They're flushing this whole nation down the drain. Sisters, stand together. Let's show the men the door before they drive us totally insane. So chuck all the men out of the Reichstag and chuck all the men out of the law courts. Chuck all the men out of the Herrenhaus. Let's call it now the Damenhaus. Women have passively embraced them when we could have easily replaced them. Yes, we should have long ago replaced them, or better yet, erase them. If we haven't made our feelings clear, we women have had it up to here.
What's that noise upon the avenue? What's that crowd a-doing round here too? What's that meaning of the awful crash? Has a taxi cab got in a smash? Johnny, Johnny, run and get your gun. Get your gun or you'll be dead, my son. It would make Napoleon quake and fill his heart with fear. Oh dear, just look, who's here. That ragtime suffragette.
Wake 'em up.
That ragtime suffragette.
Shake 'em up.
Ragging with bombshells and ragging with bricks. Hagging and nagging in politics. That ragtime suffragette.
Wake 'em up.
She's no household pet. While her family's waiting home to dine, she is ragging up and down the line, shouting votes for women, oh you ragtime suffragette. Bands are playing as she swaggers by, banners waving while the men all sigh. Why don't you go home and bake a cake, one like dear old mother used to make? Mama, how the baby sighs. Papa, get the bottle, Mama cries. For you know that I must go and make a speech tonight. All right, he growls and wants to bite. That ragtime suffragette.
Wake 'em up.
That ragtime suffragette.
Shake 'em up.
Ragging with bombshells and ragging with bricks, hagging and nagging in politics. That ragtime suffragette.
Break 'em up.
She's no household pet. While her family's waiting home to dine, she is ragging up and down the line, shouting votes for women, oh you ragtime suffragette.
Carrying Vote for Women signs and struggling with determined politeness, suffragettes were distinguished from suffragists by their willingness to take militant action. We're clearly soldiers in petticoats, dauntless crusaders for women's votes. Though we adore men individually, we agree that as a group, they're rather stupid. Cast off the shackles of yesterday, shoulder to shoulder into the fray. Our daughters will adore us, and they'll sing in grateful chorus, oh, well done, sister suffragettes. From Kensington to Billingsgate, we hear the restless cries. From every corner of the land, womenkind arise! Political equality, equal rights with men. Take heart, for Mrs. Pankhurst has been cast in irons again. No more the meek and mild subservience we're fighting for our rights militantly. Never you fear. So, cast off the shackles of yesterday, shoulder to shoulder into the fray. Our daughters will adore us. They'll sing in grateful chorus. Well done, well done, well done, Sister Suffragette.
But there was a price to pay. On November 17th, 1917, 33 silent sentinels, 33 black and white suffragists, were arrested while picketing Woodrow Wilson outside the White House. on what became the infamous Night of Terror.
As many as 40 guards with clubs went on a rampage, brutalizing 33 jailed suffragists.
They beat Ruthie Burns
chained her hands to the cell bars above her head,
and left her there for the night.
They hurled Dora Lewis into a dark cell, smashed her head against an iron bed, and knocked her out cold.
Her cellmate, Alice Kosu, who believed Dora Lewis to be dead, suffered a heart attack.
Other women were grabbed,
Dragged,
beaten,
Choked,
slammed,
pinched,
twisted,
and kicked.
Singled out for punishment, suffragist leader Alice Paul, on a hunger strike, was held and force-fed in the psychopathic ward of Washington, D.C.'s district jail.
There was a time our happiness seemed never ending. I was so sure that where we were heading was right. Life was a road so certain and straight and unbending. Our little road with never a crossroad in sight. Back in the days when we spoke in civilized voices, women in white and steady young men at the oar. Back in the days when I let you make all my choices, we can never go back to before. There was a time my feet were so solidly planted, you'd sail away while I turned my back to the sea. I was content, a princess asleep and enchanted. If I had dreams, then I let you dream them for me. Back in the days when everything seemed so much clearer, women in white who knew what their lives had in store. Where are they now, those women who stared from the mirror? We can never go back to before. There are people out there unafraid of revealing that they might have a feeling that they might have been wrong. There are people out there unafraid to feel sorrow, unafraid of tomorrow, unafraid to be weak, unafraid to be strong. There was a time that you were the person in motion. I was your wife, it never occurred to want more. You were my sky, my moon, and my stars, and my ocean. We can never go back to before. We can never go back to before.
With the introduction of the safety bicycle, the first modern bicycle in the 1880s, women found a need for clothing that would allow them the freedom to ride. Susan B. Anthony was quoted as saying, "I'll tell you what I think of bicycling. I think it has done more to emancipate women than any one thing in the world. I rejoice every time I see a woman ride by on a wheel.
Eliza Jane, she had a wheel, its rim was painted red.
Eliza had another wheel that turned inside her head.
She put the two together, she gave them both a whirl.
And now she rides the Parkway side, the 20th century girl. No more do skirts enfold me, though much my papa grieves, but baggy trousers hold me in their big pneumatic sleeves. For where you see the bloomers bloom, I sits my wheel astride. I makes a sideward stop a fight, as in the park I ride. Oh, have you seen Eliza Jane a-cycling in the park? Have you seen Eliza Jane? The people all remark.
She shouts,
hi, hi,
as she rides by.
The little doggies bark, for we all have a pain when Eliza Jane goes cycling in the park.
This is Emancipation Year, the woman movement's on. Eliza plans to be a man, 'tis sad to think upon. She thinks she needs the ballots now, her freedoms to enhance. She wants to pose in Papa's clothes, it is for this she pants.
Once I had a nice young man, alas 'twas long ago, as gay and fair and debonair as any man you know. He saw me riding bloomers, he screamed and quickly fled, and as he ran, this nice young man in trembling accents said, oh, have you seen Eliza Jane a-cycling in the park? Have you seen Eliza Jane? The people all remark.
She shouts,
hi, hi,
as she rides by.
The little doggies bark, for we all have a pain when Eliza Jane goes cycling in the park.
Eliza's brothers saw her ride, and each one turned to drink. They made it flow to drown their woes, so that they need not think. But there are woes that will not drown, not even in a well. And in the worst of their great thirst, Eliza hears them yell, Eliza dear, we sadly fear you have not started right. You will not see more liberty by being such a fright. Asylums yawn for you, my dear, and in the books we read
how bloomers that too early bloom soon fade and go to seed.
No more upon her red-rimmed wheel the fair Eliza flirts.
No more I ride the Parkway sides in bifurcated skirts.
A park policeman ran her in one day in early spring because he thought Eliza taught the little birds to sing.
Oh, have you seen Eliza Jane a-cycling in the park? Have you seen Eliza Jane? The people all remark.
She shouts,
hi, hi,
as she rides by.
The little doggies bark, for we all have a pain when Eliza Jane goes cycling in the park. We all have a pain when Eliza Jane goes cycling in the park.
American Jews played an active role in the suffrage fight. Their names may have slipped from view, but these women and men set a powerful example at a time when Jews' rights to be Americans was still a question of some debate. Manche ist gerein einmal genommen nur zum Spaß, man hat gelacht und von ihr Häuser gemacht, oi nicht war gedacht. Chanche ist schon mehr kein Chanche nicht, das sag ich euch eine neue Zeit, sich von Sklaverei befreit. Chanche ist ein ganzer Leid. Überall ist sie ein Knacker in der Ganze und man ruckt sich und man scharrt sich zu der Chanche. Für ihr die Männer hört, haben mir kein Wert. Chantje is auf ein Pferd. Chantje is a lady schöne ganze. Oi, 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 Chantje. Ach, wat a Held, nicht gespät, plein gerät. Hebt die Hand für Chantje, Chantje. Nur wie a Policeman spannt sie. Oi, 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 Chantje, nur Chantje, bescheint die ganze Welt. Chantje nimmt kein Bluff nicht und sie kennt verfreuen recht, was ist a Plan. Fahre Freu und fahre Mann soll gleicher Rechte sein. A runter mit die Häusen oi, a runter mit dem Mann geht's ihr Quitsch. Wenn sie steht und halt a Speech, Chantje is a regular peach. Mädelweiber sei am Anze, schreit sich Chantje, nicht erschreckt sich vor a Bärdel mit a Wanze. Mir heuben euch recht, zu spielen ganze Nacht. Peuker, es ist nicht schlecht. Chantje is a lady schöne ganze. Oi, 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 Chantje. Ach, war der Held, nicht gespät, klein gerät. Hebt die Hand für Chantje, Chantje. Nur wie a Policeman spannt sie. Oi, 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 Chantje, nur Chantje, bescheint die ganze Welt. Alles! Chantje is a lady schöne ganze. Oi, 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 Chantje. Ach, wat a Held, nicht gespät, plein gerät. Hebt die Hand für Chantje, Chantje. Nur wie a Policeman spannt sie. Oi, 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 Chantje, nur Chantje, bescheint die ganze Welt. When Grandma was a girlie, it was the custom each night before she put her hair up in curls to kneel and tell her troubles to the angels. And that's how it was with all the good little girls. But nowadays the maids are mercenary, for earthly goods is all they seem to care. They get down on their knees and ask the angels, please, to hearken to this modern maiden's prayer. Give me a lot of beaux and lots of pretty clothes. Give me a Pekingese and seats to all the shows. Give me a millionaire to fall in love with me. Take me to rectors, pay the collectors, one of those purely platonic protectors. Give me a limousine and diamonds like a queen. Give me most anything else that you can spare. Give me the boy that I am after. Let me retain my girlish laughter. That's the 20th century maiden's prayer. And don't you know, I went to a suffrage meeting the other night and I got up and I spoke for the suffragettes. I said, give us the right to vote. Why don't you give us the right to vote? Let us go to the polls. Why don't you let us go to the polls? And one fresh man at the back of the room stood up and he said, yeah, let them go to the polls. The North Pole and the South Pole. Give me the right to vote and get those fellas goat. Give me the right to search my husband's pants and coat. Give me a gown with lines, one must have them at times. If I didn't say much, I'd be optimistic. Give me a man with an eye that's artistic. Give me a bathing suit, so folks will say I'm cute. I won't even let the water touch my hair. And if it turns out my marriage is phony, give me lots of alimony. That's the 20th century maiden's prayer.
Women have been fighting for the legal right to vote in this country since the 1840s. In 1890, the National Women's Suffrage Association, the NAWSA, was established. with Susan B. Anthony as its leading force. But women have been fighting for their rights since the very beginning of time. First they said we couldn't dance, then said we couldn't drink, and unless some man allowed it, they said we couldn't think. They said we shouldn't speak till we were spoken to. Well, there was just so much back then they said we couldn't do. But the first bite of that apple, I guess, revealed the truth. That's when Eve got smart, and that's why Adam don't like fruit. But that old tree of knowledge had some limbs that broke. We had to fight for women's rights. They said we couldn't vote. We carried signs, we cussed at times, marched up and down the streets. We had to fight for women's rights, wore blisters on our feet. We got tired of seeing all our dreams go up in smoke, burdens more than we could tote, having lies crammed down our throats. But that old dam finally broke when women finally got the right to vote. They said a woman's place was staying in her hut, washing, cooking, cleaning, wiping babies' butts. They said we'd never see the day we'd equal up to them. Well, here we are, we come so far, I guess we sure showed them. Now the first bite of that apple, yes, it revealed the truth. That's when Eve got smart, and that's why Adam don't like fruit. But that old tree of knowledge, it had some limbs that broke. We had to fight for women's rights. They said we could not vote. We were defiant, I'll admit, but we knew we couldn't quit, 'cause the suffrage amendment must be passed. We protested, we cried out, finally it came about. Ratified by Tennessee, we won at last. 'Cause the first bite of that apple, well, it revealed the truth. That's when Eve got smart, and that's why Adam don't like fruit. But that old tree of knowledge, yes, it had some limbs that broke. We had to fight for women's rights, but yes, we won the vote. They thought we were a joke. They tried to dash our hopes with every word they spoke. They tried to revoke a woman's right to vote. But we made it, ladies. We made it. While suffragists hailed from disparate backgrounds, they were united in their determination and their courage. Sojourner Truth, 1787 to 1883. Born Isabella Baumfree. Slave in New York State, preacher, abolitionist, women's rights advocate.
Well, children, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and carried over ditches and given the best place everywhere. No one ever helped me into any carriage, or over mud puddles, or gave me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I could get it, and bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children, seen most all sold off into slavery, and when I cried out in grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? Then, that small man over there, He says that women can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. Where does your Christ come from? Where does your Christ come from? He came from God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with him. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the whole world upside down by herself, I think these women ought to be able to turn it back, get it right side up again. And they asking to do it. The men better let them. Obliged to you for hearing me. And now Sojourner ain't got nothing more to say. What makes the gopher leave his hole, trembling with fear and fright? Maybe the gopher's got a soul, wanting to see the light. That's it. Oh yeah, that's it. The scripture has it writ. Better life, that's it. Nobody like hold, nobody like chain. Don't the good Lord all around you make it plain? River, it like to run, eagle, it like to fly, eagle, it like to feel its wings against the sky, possum, it like to run, ivy, it like to climb, the birds in the tree and bumblebee want freedom in autumn or summertime. Ever since that day when the world was an onion, 'twas natural for the spirit to soar and play the way the Lord wanted it, free as the sun is free. That's how it's gotta be. Whatever is right for bumblebee and river and eagle is right for me. We gotta be free, the eagle and me. Ever since that day when the world was an onion, 'twas natural for the spirit to soar and play the way the Lord wanted it. Free as the sun is free, that's how it's gotta be. Whatever is right for bumblebee and river and eagle is right for me. We gotta be free, the eagle and me.
Susan B. Anthony visited San Diego in 1895 on the same mission that she had been on for half of a century. She was determined that California women would win the right to vote. She constantly asked why it was that with the magnificent declaration of our forefathers that all men were created equal, that they should then proceed to establish a government in antagonism with that very principle. We cannot retrace our steps. Going forward might be the same as going backwards. We cannot retrace our steps. What do we want? What we have got? Has it not gone? What made it live? Has it not gone? Because now it is had. In my long life, in my long life is strife. I was a martyr all my life, not to what I won, but to what was done. Do you know? Because I tell you so. Or do you know? Do you
On August 20th, they signed the 19th Amendment into law. But the 19th Amendment did not enfranchise all women. Black women, Native American women, and other women of color remained disenfranchised for decades. The right to vote did not become a reality for all women in America until the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. But today, voting rights continue to be challenged. I am standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me. I am stronger for their courage. I am wiser for their words. I am lifted by their longing for a fair and brighter future. I am grateful for their vision, for their toiling on this earth. We are standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before us. They are saints and they are humans. They are angels, they are friends. We can see beyond the struggles and the troubles and the challenge when we know that by our efforts things will be better in the end. They lift me higher than I could ever fly, carrying my burdens away. I imagine our world, if they hadn't tried, we wouldn't be here before you to say. I am standing on the shoulders of the ones who came before me. I am honored by their passion for our liberty. I will stand a little taller. I will work a little
My shoulders will be there to hold the ones who follow me.
The young suffragists who forged the final links of the chain were not born when it began.
Old suffragists who forged the first link were dead when it ended.
Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton did not live to see the end of the revolution they ignited.
Please vote.
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 Vote for the world that you want.
Vote. For women when you can, but seriously, vote.
Your vote is your voice. Let it be heard. Vote early.
The vote. Use it or lose it.
Vote.
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 Please vote as if your life depends on it.
Vote.